Hey guys, Elliot here from Prismata, and today I'm going to show off a bunch of the new features in the Prismata Alpha that we've deployed in the last couple of weeks. First off, I'm going to talk about the new ranked play screen. So this is actually a big change. We took the old arena mode and we made a bunch of changes and we renamed it ranked play. The name change, of course, it was because we had some new players coming to us and saying, well, where do I go to play ranked 1v1? I don't even know where to do that. And it turned out that the name The Arena wasn't clear to people that it was actually ranked 1v1. So that's why we did that name change. And as for the actual changes to the rules and how the rewards are generated, well, let's go back to the arena mode. How it used to work is you'd get this ticket. The ticket, when you accumulated 7 strikes, which you'd get from losses, then your ticket would be retired and you would get some prizes based on how many wins you had and how you performed. And this led to a couple of issues. Some players had anxiety if they were on a good run, they wouldn't want to play if they weren't in a good mood, or other times players wouldn't want to purchase the arena tickets because they were worried that, what if they blow it? What if they just lose a couple of games and waste their shards? So for this and a couple other reasons, we've changed it to a system where you just have to fill up the ticket. Once it's full, you get some prizes. And of course, you can still get the gold and platinum arena tickets, and they give you bonus prizes. But now you more or less know what you're going to get. You're going to get 2 times or 3 times the value of getting 7 to 9 medals worth of prizes, and that's that. So you don't have to worry as much about what if I have a bad run, what if I'm not playing in the best shape, and will I waste the ticket, because it's not going to affect it. You're not going to blow your ticket. So that's one big change. We've made some other changes to the way rewards are generated when you complete the ticket, and I'll show those off in a second. Before we get to that, I want to show off some in-game stuff. The actual in-game stuff hasn't changed much, but there is one subtle thing that you might not even notice, which is that we have removed the Analyze button from the pause menu when you're playing a ranked game. And there's also an option to disable it in versus games, and we'll get to that in a bit. This is experimental. It's not necessarily final. It's not necessarily something we're going to keep, but we're looking for feedback. We want to see whether or not players prefer playing with or without this analyze mode. And, there's been lots of debating on the subreddit of whether or not players want to have the ability to open a secondary window and look through the game tree, or whether they prefer Prismata to really be a game played on the table. The debate hasn't been settled yet, but we're going to try removing it and see what happens, and we're looking for your feedback on that issue. I am just going to get my opponent to resign here so that I can show you the next thing. The streak bonus. So since removing arena tickets, so some players have complained to us, well, now I don't feel rewarded if I have a really good run and I do really well. And we said, okay, well, we'll add a streak bonus in. So now there's a streak bonus. Starting at 3 wins, you get a little bit of a bonus prize when you win a game. And if you continue your streak to 4, 5, 6, 7, however many wins, the prizes, well, they more or less get better and better as you get more wins. So you can win power cores, you can win omni power cores, you can even win black cards if you continue your streak long enough. And so it's something new, especially for the really high ranked players at the top of the ladder. It'd be interesting to see how long they can take their winning streaks. So that is the streak bonus. It also displays on the lobby what your streak bonus is. Now, as for the ticket completion and scoring, so it looks a little bit different. It shows your completed ticket. You can mouse over this and it shows you the score. The notion of bonus stars, they have been removed from the point calculation. So you no longer get bonus points for the stars. To compensate for that, the box just contains a little bit more stuff than it used to. So on average, you're going to get a little bit more rewards per win. And the distribution of rewards has also been adjusted to be a little bit less high variance. So before, how it worked is you'd have all these different boxes, maybe 10 different boxes, and it was 1 box per medal you earned. And each box independently had a prize in it, which could be either an omni power core down to the smallest little power fragment. And of course, the probability of getting something good got better and better as you did better in your run, but you still, you could have a terrible run and win 1 or more omnis, or you could have a great run and still get not really that good just fragments or whatever, right? So players often felt that the rewards they got didn't match the performance they felt they had performed. So we've tried to make it a bit more even. Now, essentially, you get a certain amount of rewards that doesn't change that much. And then on top of that, you might occasionally get a little bit of a bonus prize, some shards or an Omni or power cores or stuff like that. But you're not going to get a very small reward after you do well or have a good run. You basically will get a substantial prize for every run. And that's that. And yes, we could see the little streak indicator on here. What else? We have been making some, we've added some new features to Versus mode. There's now this little gear here which opens up a menu full of advanced options, different things that you can try during your game. So of course you can enable and disable analysis mode and pausing. So for example, if you're playing in a tournament or some kind of esports event, the organizers may tell the players to play without analysis mode on. Supply limits, if you want to play a game against your friends with no supply limits, you can do it. I can't promise that the game won't crash if you try and make hundreds and hundreds of units on the battlefield, but in theory, you could take the supply limits off and see what happens. There's an option to skip the pregame countdown. There's also this option, make the bot click extremely rapidly. This is, right now how the bot works is, it thinks for a few seconds and then plays some move, and that move is played, click, click, click. If you check this box, then the bot will spend all of its turn thinking and then immediately play the move that it thinks about, so fast that you won't even really be able to see what it's doing. And this can add a bit of a challenge if you're playing 1v1 versus the bot to make things a bit tougher, a bit faster, a bit more stressful. There's also a gold handicap slider, so if you're playing against a friend, you can give one player some gold. If you're playing against the bot, you can give the computer some gold. So I'm going to skip all this, make the bot fast, add a lot of gold, and let's try actually playing 2 seconds a turn, and I'll just play against WackyBot. And you can see, even though it's just WackyBot, it represents a substantial challenge. I'm probably going to lose. But, you got to play really fast. So if you want an opportunity to practice your blitz play, this is how you're going to do it. Anyways. And of course you could play, I have no supplies, as you could see. You could play no supplies against your friends, all kinds of fun stuff. So if you have any other feature requests or stuff you'd like in this menu, if it's easy for us to implement, I'm happy to add it. And, I personally added most of this stuff here. So what's next? Oh yes, we have a D&D feature. So if you go into options notifications, there's now a do not disturb mode, which you can enable, and you can enter a message in here. And essentially, if somebody tries to PM you, then it will auto reply with whatever message is in here. So if you just want to log in and play some games and don't want to talk to people, you can set up that D&D mode. Let's go to the cosmetics. I am currently in a Black Lab session, which I'm just going to close out of because I want to start with the armory. The armory, we have added an extra item at the top, so there's now 9 items instead of 8, just to give you a bit better selection. There are more 100 cost items, generally speaking. That's mostly just because sometimes at the 100 slot you see the country flag drones or emotes or things that you may not necessarily be interested in because, if you don't live in Australia, you maybe don't care for Australia drones. So now there's more selection at the 100 slot, and maybe you'll have more options of getting something good. We reduced this red bonus a little bit just so that the total amount you win if you flip all the cards is still equal to the total cost of everything up top. The other change is that this bar, which when it's full you get a black card, this bar now fills up over twice as fast. So I think it's a substantial increase in how fast you get the black cards from the armory. Speaking of the black cards, let's take a look at the Black Lab. So this stage is still the same. You get to pick a level 5, a level 6, and a level 7. In the actual card flipping game, we've made some adjustments, even as recently as a couple of days ago. But the game is now a card flipping game with 20 cards, and I know my face is covering up one, but you'll just have to trust me, it's a green key. And So you flip over the cards until you either hit 3 strikes or you collect all the keys of one color. So when I click start, it's going to shuffle them up. And I'm hoping for the colorful keys to unlock these prizes. And I struck out. So when you strike out, you get an alternate prize, and we've actually recently increased the value of these alternate prizes. So you used to, like, level 2 prizes would show up in here. Now the minimum you can get is a level 3, and most of the time you'll be seeing level 3 skins as the prize you get when you strike out. And of course you can pay shards to play again. If you did unlock one of these other prizes, you know, you keep the prize. This prize right here is a random level 4 item, so you get to pick the level 5, 6, and 7, but if you get the 2 greens, you just get a random level 4. And let's see if I can hit it. There we go. And it turns out I won the Clockwork Flame Animus, which is pretty cool. But anyways, if I go to play again, these locks don't come back. The other locks do come back. And you get to just flip again, and if you get the green keys, even though the green locks are already unlocked, they just count as nothing. You get a free extra flip. And, oh, we got the red one. Nice. Starfire Asteri Cannon. So that is the new Black Lab. The other big change is that it used to cost 799 shards to flip again. We've reduced the price to 399. We found that a lot of players just, they felt that it was too high to take a shot. So we've reduced the price and sort of adjusted the game to be balanced accordingly. The other thing that players really didn't like, with the old Black Lab, you could get nothing if you just flipped over the cards that got no rewards. So now, at least if you strike out, you'll get a level 3 skin or something of that level. So yeah, that's the Black Lab. That's why we made the changes. We're always looking for feedback on this, you know, especially if you spend lots of shards in the Black Lab. We love to hear what your experience is like, what you don't like, you know, when you love to flip again, when you hate to flip again, that sort of thing. Those are all the major changes. There's a couple more minor changes. We adjusted the daily bonus. It used to give green power core 10 shards green power core. Now it gives green power core 15 shards green power core. So the amount of shards you get in the daily bonus is increased. The bot there have been some slight tweaks and improvements to the bot, mostly just to take care of a few situations where it was doing a few dumb things, but there will be more improvements to come. Also, lots of crash fixes and little visual bug fixes and stuff like that. The next big things to come, well, the next big project that will be launched soon is animated skins, and we're very close to having them ready to deploy, so expect to see them in the next couple of weeks. The single player campaign, we're still working on it quite a lot. You know, maybe at some point we'll give a few little previews of what we're working on, but right now we're just kind of doing it in the background. I know you guys can't see the progress, but you just have to believe me that it is happening. We're working on some stability fixes. We know that there are still crashes out there, and they're mostly caused by the amount of new graphics we've been adding. It's just too much sometimes, and we've actually had to dial back a little bit the number of particles we create or the amount of effects on the screen at one time, because when you're working in the browser, there are certain limits you just have to respect, and you can't really you don't have as much control as you normally do with, say, a desktop application. You know, if you use too much memory, then it'll start swapping and it'll go slow in a desktop application. But in the browser, if you use too much memory, then it may just reject your request to use more memory, and that can lead to all sorts of bad things. So we're working on fixes to that, and we are, of course, also working on a desktop version which will go on Steam, and with that, we'll be able to crank the graphics up even further than we have right now. But there are also going to be some more graphics to be added to the game. We're putting in some individual effects for different units and their abilities, stuff like that. You guys will get to see it pretty soon. Anyways, that's about all for now. I'll be looking to do these updates whenever we have major releases, and hopefully the next one in a couple of weeks when we get animated skins in there. Really excited about that. That's going to be a lot of fun. But that will be all for now. Until then, I'm Elliot, and I will see you next time.